I did that. I said, well, Whitney would use it like this. She would put it on my head. She would put the oil on my heart. She would rub it on my back. If something was wrong, something had happened. The lady was ecstatic because she didn't know how Whitney was using the oil.
Yeah.
So now she and I are friends from afar because of that connection with the oil. And the oil is instrumental.
It's
Yeah.
unbelievable.
So it's
Where
praise
does this
oil.
woman live?
She lives in Florida.
Okay.
So we're both on two sides of the spectrum.
Mhm.
You know, and I've always told her, you know, she's like, it's something about that oil. I said, it is. It's something about it. But I have a whole brand.
So the oil eliminated the bed bugs.
The oil just kind of covered my back.
So it's almost like
Protected me.
there was a spiritual
There's
protection.
spiritual protection.
It's almost like
from her.
so it's almost like everything tied to Whitney was about protecting her people.
Exactly.
You know.
That's her thing.
Mhm.
You see how she was about her husband.
All right, well, let's talk
You
about
see how
that.
she was about her
That
kids.
could become a burden on someone, especially when the part of this protection is you give these people financial opportunities
Yeah.
for them to increase their value of life and
Yeah.
to live their lives.
Yeah.
So that becomes a burden, even though the people aren't really, they don't want to have this burden on
Yeah.
the person.
Right.
So think about just having a small family. Think about having a wife and two sons.
Exactly.
And now thinking about having 250 people
Right. Plus their families.
plus their families.
And she
The
thought
thought
about
of
that.
it.
She
You
thought
know,
about that.
the thought of it, you may not meet their family or
Exactly.
the people on
But
the
you know
tour
that they
and
have
all
them.
like that.
And you guesstimated each person to have at least 2 or 3 people in their family.
So when you're on the
Who
road
thinks
somewhere,
about? I mean, you know what I mean? Like who?
So
you know,
when
it's
you're
all
on-
about love for her.
so
It
when
was
you're on the
always
road and you're telling
about love.
somebody, don't go this way, it's not safe, or this is a one-way street, we're not going to do all that. This is what's on your mind.
Mhm.
That these people have
The
families,
spirit.
and these people, this is the type of person
That's,
she
that's
was,
who she was.
and this is the person that we need to introduce to the audience.
Yeah.
So it's almost like something as small as bed bugs was a huge deal for her.
It was huge because it was like we're in this 4-star hotel or whatever it was, 5-star, 4-star. And then, like I said, she was just very, very particular about things, signs. Because if you know that we have a spiritual realm of living and then there's this basic living. Because we weren't born to just drive Bentleys every day. That's not the purpose. There's a bigger purpose to this thing. It's just that we're so removed from whatever the purpose is, but there's still some groundwork that can be done, and it starts with prayer.
Mhm.
And that's what I got from that part of how to get through things. You know, pray. And if nobody believes it, nobody wants to do it, that's them. It's free.
And maybe
I
that's
use it.
maybe that's why you connected on a deeper level with Whitney than even some of the people that were in her family or in her inner circle, because you had that strong prayer background and she
The
had that.
belief that anything, all things are possible. I can do all things. You know, and I believe in myself like that first. And if I say through Christ Jesus, then it makes it even bigger. But believing in myself first is the most important thing. I can do all things.
When you met her, did you feel that strong spiritual connection
When
of
I
her?
met her, I knew that it was a destined, because there was no way. I was getting ready to leave doing hair after I lost my guy.
Hand my phone
I
back
just
one.
didn't even think that hair was for me anymore, and I was about to change my direction
That's
and
important.
go into real estate, something that could make more money besides just me standing and just physically working and on my hands and my feet. And I got the phone call, and I had just lost my fiance, and I just was in a real rut, you know, really in a bad kind of way, like sad, grieving. And got the phone call from her, and it just kind of all. So, meeting her helped me a lot. To be able to, all I want to do is help people. You know what I mean? I've always helped people. Whether I sit in my chair, for somebody that I can see in the streets and I discern, oh, those people need help. That's who I am. That's who she was. And she would help people. They just don't talk about other people she helped.
And you saw, because you were on the road with her, all the people she was helping. Why didn't those stories come out? And
Well, because no, those other people that are doing these stories weren't there to tell those detailed, intricate, passionate stories. So stuff like, there was a gentleman, a crew guy on tour, his mother passed away. And he left, and he didn't go to the repast because he didn't want to get fired from the job. So he left Manchester, England, went all the way back to the States, came back, missed the repast, I heard the conversation because my ear is to the floor. I was in Executive A group. I got demoted to Executive B group. We could talk about that later. But all it did was make me know who's in A and meet everybody else that they consider to be B, which is the tour life. So I got to take all that in and get to know everybody else.
Who's that?
They, the cameramen, the background singers, the dancers, the lighting guys, the catering service, the wardrobe stylist, the smallest people that make the production the biggest production.
Right.
I got to meet all of them. While they thought they were demoting me from A, they were really promoting me to do this story. They didn't even know.
Why do you think they demoted you?
You want the real story?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. This is what I think happened. Whitney and management had a disagreement about something that had to do with both of their kids. I'm doing Whitney's hair, and Whitney's just talking. You know, when you talk about her daughter, she don't play that. So it's she's talking, and she starts laughing. And I'm just trying to calm the situation and just say, listen, come on, let's kind of bring this in a little bit. Because I'm in charge of hair. You know, they're talking about the baby's hair or something. It was just something, and they got into it. And after I just tried to settle the situation, Whitney said something that made me laugh. So me and the new makeup artist was there. We laughed. The next day, when we got to Switzerland, we had got our vans, the tour buses that were going to take us the rest of the way. So we were supposed to be on the tour bus with the Executive A group, with Whitney and all that, but they said that there wasn't enough room for us and had us to leave from there and go to Executive B tour bus, which had me and the makeup artist, like, what is it called when you, there was already a bus for the background singers and the camera crew, the background singers and the dancers. They kind of just pushed us there.
Yeah.
Hey, sweetheart. And made us,
How you doing?
how do you say it when you go into somebody's, like, we invaded on them, because then I ended up having to sleep sitting straight up in a chair.
Wow.
Because they said that their family had came in and took over that bus. So now me and the makeup artist, we don't even have a bus. So now I'm just kind of left out. And Whitney said, what's going on? What happened? And she's just a little bit meek to be able to go up against them. So she kind of said, I see what's going on. And that's when Kim Burrell came. And Kim Burrell walked in the room and she discerned the whole thing. She said, hey, what's going on up in here? I see people wearing their black capes around here. She walked over to me and she said, don't worry about nothing. All this that you're doing, this is why don't nobody care for you, because you're making this booty smile. Don't worry about a thing.
So you were always able to make her smile.
That was my job. That's why she took me with her. When she left, she called me and she said, listen, I can't do California anymore. I'm over it. Every time I look outside, there's a helicopter. Somebody's in the bushes. They're trying to, she said, you can't imagine my life.
I didn't even think about that.
So if she's closing the curtains, it's not because she's on crack, but she's just trying to find the peace, the privacy. And it was hard to find the privacy. And she said, I'm leaving LA, I'm going back to Atlanta, and I can't take it. And by this time, we've been 2 months building kinship. So I was devastated, and I was like, okay, so close yet so far. And then she said, you know, the only thing that I'm going to miss is you. She said, but I got you. So we left, she left, I'm humdrum. About a month and a half later, I'm having lunch with my dad at Shanghai Red, and I get a call. She says, Miss Dixon, I have a star request for you. Miss Houston is doing an event, and she has star requested you to do it. And I'm like, yeah, what's the address? They like, no, ma'am, you got a passport? I said, okay, send me your email, I'm going to send you. And that was my first trip to London. And we just super sailed off after that. That's how it all came. It was amazing. And she would say, like, are you ready? You ready for this? I'd be like, yeah. So the first time, she's like, are you sure you ready? We on the elevator. I'm like, yeah, I'm good, you know? So we get downstairs. This is the very first time where I really saw the whole paparazzi thing. And I had never seen anything like that before, ever. Like, there were cameras up underneath the cars. There was like 100 cameramen outside.
And
This
what was
we were in London.
what was going
At the
on in her
Dorchester.
life at this time? Whenever I ask you that, it's because I'm trying to figure out.
She was doing a promotional tour for T-Mobile, for B-Mobile in London.
Uh-huh.
And she was just trying to get her feet back out. It was her first appearance on Fashion Rock, which was taped in London. And they were very receptive. I mean, people she hadn't been seen in a long time.
So these paparazzi is because it's for
Because
the fans,
she's in the city.
or is it just because she's in the
Because
city?
she's
There's
Whitney
no scandal
Houston.
going on at that time.
It's nothing.
Nothing. Everything is positive.
It's
for
like
the comeback.
she's
Or
here.
to not come back, to come through.
To come through.
Gotcha.
She's here. That's all they needed to know.
Wow.
See, Europe is different from the States.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what she did in her life. They don't care what they care, but they don't care what her addiction is. They love the voice.
Right.
And if you know that the voice was amazing, imagine who the woman was.
That's kind of the purpose of you doing this in the first place, is you want to just talk about her person,
I wanna talk
her
about-
voice, her beauty.
Exactly. Just who she was, like as a woman, as a friend, as a sister, as a partner, as a, you know what I mean? We would chase bats in Australia and just learning. She was like, I sang the song at 19, and I woke up one day and I was 45 years old.
Wow.
I never knew that it would propel me to the heights that it did. All I wanted to do was sing gospel. And here we are. And now 45, 46, I'm divorced, and this is my life. You know, and everything is different. You know, and then people, you know, we just kind of, we had a kinship. We
You
had a
guys,
friendship.
you guys obviously grew close quickly, or was it a gradual thing?
No, instantaneously from the first interaction. And it's something about me she trusted.
Obviously.
You know what I
Camera
mean?
and all that, too.
And to give me all access and just make me feel like even if I'm walking in the back, where's Tiff? Come here. Come up here. Come right here.
So it's almost like a.
You know what I mean? And they didn't. I don't think management liked that.
No, they wouldn't.
You know what I mean? I think I got too much.
So it's almost like she as a friend, she had your back, and she
Always.
was so concerned that you were okay, and you were always concerned that she was okay.
Vice
And
versa.
she was like that with a lot of people,
Yeah.
right? Wow.
Yeah. And she would always say, I got you. And she wasn't lying. She had me. She took care of me the first day. She said, okay, I don't know how much this costs, but here's my account. Email them. And that's how I got paid. Everybody else got paid on payroll. I got paid through the accountant the whole time. I think that's why they... Some of that you.
So-
They
so-
didn't like that. And they couldn't fire me.
Yeah, couldn't do anything about it.
They tried to replace me several times. Sony was getting ready to do the.
Why did they try to place you? They were felt that you were too close to Whitney.
I think management. I wasn't necessarily in their grace in that way. Like I said, I think they might have thought I had too much access to her.
Maybe too much influence to her, or too much access. What is-
Influence to where I'm 100% real with anything. So if I don't care if it's mother, father, sister, cousin, husband, whoever you are, and if you ain't right, I'm gonna let you know you're not right. And if I see something not right, I'm gonna say that's not right. You know what I mean? And I didn't kiss ass.
Do you remember any instances where it wasn't right and you said something and that kind of rubbed people the wrong way?
There was nothing besides the relationship between Bobby and Christina that I would have anything to say about.
Yeah.
Anything else would be something like I thought that they could have done things better to make her performance better.
Okay. But for
But I
Bobby,
didn't say anything to him.
so with Bobby Christina though, that's where you put your.
That's where I put my foot down.
What was some
Because
of
we were raising her,
the? Yeah.
trying to help her. Because she would come to me and sit on the floor like, Tim, so, what?
How old is she?
16, 17, 18. I met her when she was 12.
Yeah, she's a young woman.
Until she passed away. So it was almost like Auntie Tiffy, you know what I mean? But they look at me because they don't think that I'm as much older than them. So they're like, oh, you're so wisdom. You just got all this. And I'm like, you guys just don't understand. I'm like 30 years older than both of you guys.
Do you remember the first time that there was like that with Bobby Christina where you put your foot down and it caused a little bit of a rift?
It never caused a rift. It caused a reaction from her mom to say that that's what she needed around her, was someone that was going to put their foot down to Chrissy.
And how would they?
And to make her understand that, you know, there's certain things some things that she learned along her upbringing with being with her mom and her dad that were unfortunate, which caused her to be that person or say the things that she would say. But she just needed to hear from somebody else to say, hey, that ain't right.
You think she was exposed to too much at a
She
young
was.
age?
She was exposed to a lot.
Yeah.
And it contributed to a lot. So in a way, her little 22 years was full. So maybe her time was up. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, you know.
Did you feel the same type of, you know how Whitney cared about everybody? Was Bobby Christina the same way? Does she take that trait from her mom?
Sweet as pie.
No.
She was sweet as pie. She just had one problem. And it's that chemical dependency to alcohol.
Well, that's hereditary. If you have it on both sides,
Yeah.
then it's double hereditary.
And that chemical dependency was not her friend. And we would talk about it, and I would tell her, because it would take her somewhere that was really not cute, and then she wouldn't even remember not being cute.
Did she try to fight it?
Yeah, she did, but she had a lot going on. You got your dad over here, who's got all this going on, and you got your mom over here. She's this person on a magnanimous scale who tried to dim her shine for that person. Dad. And the dad.
Was he around much during the time you was there? How often did you see him, do you think?
I didn't see him.
You didn't see him?
I got pictures of him coming to meet them. Chrissy would send me pictures. Like, look at this bullshit. Mom sitting there like this, dad sitting there crying. I swear to God.
Did you know Robin?
No.
The last documentary, tried to play up that relationship.
I think that they wanted to make her into a lesbian, but
Yeah.
you cannot make a lesbian
Yeah.
into a lesbian if they're not.
Yeah, they played up
And
on
what
that.
they don't understand is that the relationship between two solid women is stronger than
It's true.
anything you can imagine. So if I'm gay and me and you got a strong relationship, just because I say, oh,
Yeah, it doesn't mean that I'm gay.
That doesn't
too.
mean I'm gay.
Right. Yeah.
Robin was good for her though. That's what I did get. Robin was good to the extent to where she really cared about her and made sure that nobody was doing anything to her. So that's what I got from Robin. I never really met Robin except for one time I did a video for Whitney Houston had a group called Sunday. And I did their video. It was the first group. This was way before I did Whitney. It was like in the early 80s or whatever. And I met Robin then. And Randy St. Nichols, who's actually the photographer on here. And they treated me really bad. Randy St. Nichols treated me bad. Well, because they think that my department doesn't make a difference. And my thing is that if I don't do what I do or my crew doesn't take care of what needs to be, you're not going to get that on that screen.
We cater to
So respect my job just like I respect yours. As EP, is that EP me too? It's creative hair and director.
We cater to Glam Squad in my city.
Yeah.
Like when I tell the AD department, or if I'm the AD, as soon as they get here, get them set up, give them everything they need.
It's important.
Get them their own craft service. Like get some stuff from craft service.
Important.
Put it in there. I don't want them to have to leave out their room if they don't have to.
Right.
Show them where the restroom is. We cater to the Glam Squad, and sometimes it's the person's personal Glam Squad.
Exactly.
That we had to pay extra money for because it's their people.
But see, you catered to her inner beauty in addition to her external beauty.
Exactly.
And I think that's where you had the big connection.
Yeah. And then we could talk about Jehovah together and call that name. It gets real deep, but like that's who she was. Like she would say, I don't make a step without asking. What do I do next? Like help me with this, because when you're up at the top, it can be real lonely. When you go all the way up to can you imagine the plight of Michael Jackson, Whitney Houston, Prince, who now that all three of those angels are gone, this world has just lost its mind. If you think about it. it's
God,
deep.
that's crazy.
All three of them are gone. So, you know, I just want to tell my story from the inside out. I want to be true to what I saw, what happened, and how I felt, and tell a better story and let you see her in her beauty, because that's my department, is making her beautiful. If that's a word. Beautiful if that's a word.
Man,
But,
somebody left the sliding door and it rained and all these little